Court. Hi, this is Maisha with Empower Content, and today I have the pleasure of recording a copy coaching call with one of my clients turned friends, Amaadi of Fit Tribe Wellness. I'm going to let her introduce herself in a minute, but wanted to go through the topic of this video, which is repurposing your content. Now, repurposing your content, of course, requires that you have content. So this is not for beginners. This is for folks who have been creating content for maybe, 8, 12, 18 months, something like that, and you're really tired, right? You're trying to figure out what you can do, how you can handle using what you have, getting off that content treadmill, and still delivering some value and still engaging with your customers. So again, this is not for newbies, although you'll probably get some value. I'm going to do another video where I walk myself through the newbie process. Won't be repurposing, but it'll get you in a place where you can have a framework around it. So I'm going to let Amaadi introduce herself, and then we'll go through just this process of evaluating what you have, where you want to go, and what you need to do to use it. So, Amaadi, hey!
Hey! Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Amaadi Coleman, aka the Belly Therapist and founder of Fit Tribe Wellness, and I need help with repurposing content. I have content for a newsletter that I drop twice a month, and I have social media platforms that I post to. And sometimes it's really hard to be consistent with new content, but in some of our conversations, you're like, well, you don't have to always have new content. And I'm like, really? Like that would put a lot of pressure off of me. So
you do not. I mean, one of the statistics that I found was that I think it's like 5.5 or maybe 6% of the people who follow you on social actually see your post the first time. Right? Yeah. So when you think about that, right, wow, you're trying to come up with all of these new things every single time, and a fraction of the people who follow you saw it. So you're trying to, come up with something every day. I think about, when you go out the house and, people, oh, I can't wear an outfit again, that sort of situation. Yeah. Like, who saw you? Why are you? Right. Like, nobody saw you. So why not? It's one of those situations. And just for somebody like you who I know posts and writes and you do so much every single week, you have enough good stuff out there to engage the folks that you want to engage, keep the conversation going, and not have to, redo everything every week. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to go through this with you because I know that you do have a lot of content. But first, I want to step back and talk about your new goals, because your business is pivoting from, when we met, you were building out your personal training business, and now you have this amazing belly therapy practice, and I'm so excited about it. You also have an e-commerce store. So you've got a lot more going on than when we met 2 years ago now. Yep. So what are your goals and who are you trying to reach? And are these people new? Are you trying to stay with the same audiences, or are you adding to that?
So what I have found is that not only for me, my business, even my mission statement, even my audience is always growing and evolving.
Okay.
And without even me realizing it until I have a conversation with a potential client. And what I mean by that is when we first met, I was just doing personal training for my business. And then, 2 years later, I'm doing personal training, I'm doing online classes. And then I'm offering belly therapy, like you said. And with the belly therapy, there was expansion in so many ways or so many levels, not just in service, but also in mindset, because there are a lot of women that have this not so good self-talk about how they look, about how they feel, about the the possibility of looking the way that they actually want to look, all of these things. And I was like, okay, hold up. So yes, I have a practice here. I'm in the business of I'm in the belly healing business, but there's more to it than just healing the belly.
So happy you brought that up, because one of the things that I recently did a video on is a concept that I love called solving the internal problem and not the external problem, right? So a lot of business owners, marketers, we go at it from the external problem, right? So, oh, I want to solve the problem of she wants to lose 10 pounds, right? But that's not really what she wants, right? The 10 pounds is the external problem. The real problem is that I talk to myself so terribly because of this extra weight. I don't feel like myself anymore because I had a baby and now my midsection is different, right? So you stumbled on to the real problem, and that's where it gets juicy. That's where the marketing gets good, because now you can help people solve a problem that they might not even know is the real problem.
Right. And so therefore my tagline is creating wellness through awareness, slowing women down so that they are more aware of their behaviors, of their actions, of their practices, or inaction. And that includes fitness, that includes nutrition, that includes mindset, that includes everything, self-talk, that includes everything. And so to answer your question, there are clients that want to lose weight, all women.
Right.
For all of this. So I focus on women of color, number one. Focus on women of color.
Okay,
I focus on women of color, whether they've had children or not, but most women that gravitate towards me tend to have had children.
Okay, so you are going right into, which is why I love talking to you, because you get it. You've been doing this for a while, right? So you're going right into who is your audience? Who is this this woman? She's a woman of color. She's had, probably had 1 or 2 children, right? Who else?
Right.
What else?
So she probably has self-motivation issues, self-accountability issues, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. She wants a change, a physical change. She wants probably an emotional change as well, but she might not be aware of it until we've had a consultation. Okay. She wants to not only look better, but she wants to feel better, because the feel is the internal that you were talking about. She wants to feel better. And I don't believe that you can physically look better if you haven't addressed the internal. It's like it's like someone who's 300 pounds who goes to get liposuction, and now they're half the weight. Well, okay, that's the physical. You've addressed the physical, but their mindset is, I'm a fat girl. I can't get what I want in life. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not enough. I am inadequate. So I have to do A, B, and C, even though she doesn't have to do it, because this type of self-talk, the mind did not follow the physical.
Right. Gotcha.
So I try to focus on the mind as well as the body, because you can't have one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That self-awareness is key. And I really do love the fact that you changed your tagline. And I'm going to pause there and say, it's okay to change. It's okay to change as you are starting, as you are learning who your audience actually is. It's okay. It's not written in stone. We're all growing. Life is changing. Business is changing all around us. So once you see that, things are shifting, you can shift too, so I definitely wanted to put that out there and just say that, I really admire the fact that you were able to recognize, okay, this is what I need to put out there now, because now I know more. This is what I've learned. And it's okay to shift your mission 1, 2, 5 times until you get it right, particularly in the beginning, because you're learning.
Yeah, and I actually changed the mission statement this week for like the 8th time. So I've refined it a little bit more. But so the audience, women of color who want to have some weight loss, some toning, more flexibility. They need to be held accountable. They need to be motivated. They want to feel better. They want to eat healthier. They want to snack less. They want more of a well-balanced lifestyle as opposed to just trying to do this one thing that doesn't quite seem to fit. They want an integrated approach so that it's more of a lifestyle as opposed to an obligation. And then, so that's the general audience, right, for Fit Tribe Wellness. But I have so many different branches now. The belly therapy is what my main focus is. And so for that woman, she can be all of what I just said, including women that suffer from the stubborn mummy tummy.
Right.
You've lost weight pretty much everywhere, but you can't quite tone really the way that you want to in your midsection. She might have some sort of hernia.
Okay.
She might have lower back pain. She might have pelvic floor issues that include painful sex, uterine prolapse. She could have urinary incontinence, which, pee sneezes is what I call them. So a little urine sneaks out of there if you jump too much or run or sneeze. A little bit of urine comes out. She could have severe constipation issues, poor posture. There's so many symptoms, signs and symptoms that we might be aware of, but we're not sure where they're coming from because most women haven't heard of the condition that I help heal.
Right. So one of the things that I hear from you is that you have different groups of people, but it sounds like we might be able to kind of come up with those 2 to 3 themes or pain points that we can start from all of them. And that's where the repurposing will start. So what are those key 3, right? So across everybody that you, that's kind of in your subgroup, there are going to be those key 3 things that you feel resonate with your audience and that will get them to be in conversation with you, and, hopefully go through your sales cycle. So I want to jump into that based on your priorities. I know just working with you that, growing belly therapy is definitely one of your big priorities for the coming year. But also bringing that integrated approach to the folks that you've previously been just marketing personal training to, right? So you want to bring that integrated approach to your, kind of current audience, and then this new subgroup of women you want to kind of drill down in. Absolutely. So where do you think those 3 things are? So what are those 3, and sometimes for me, it's easier to think in terms of a question, right? I always think of what 3 questions can I answer for my clients or the people I want to be my clients. So let's go through that. What do you think those three things are?
In terms of questions, I'm not sure how to say
that. It doesn't have to be a question. What's the pain point? What's the emotional, like what we went through? What's the emotion that they want to solve for?
Women want to feel better.
Okay.
Women want to look better.
Okay.
And I would say the third thing is, that's a good one. They want to look better. They want to feel better. And I think the underlying,
I think we're heading to the same place. Confidence.
I was going to say they might want to show up better for themselves.
I love it. Okay. And that is even better. So that lies underneath the feel better, look better. You want to show up as the woman you want to be. Altogether.
Yeah, because like even for me, because I always relate myself to other women, even on a personal level, I'll be like, I can't wait to take a bath tonight and treat myself and self-care, love mode. And then it's like 8:00. I'm like, girl, I'm tired. I ain't taking no bath. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, I need this time. And it doesn't take much to turn that water on and sit there and wait for it to, you can go pick out what you want, and it's like showing up for yourself, being consistent. You're going to show up for work.
Right.
Show up for
Exactly.
yourself. Pay
Right.
yourself.
So I think you just hit gold right there. Showing up for yourself. What all of these people have in common is that they want to show up better. All of the people that you want to serve, right? So I think if you start with that as your theme and then work your way down with all of your content lanes, so you can say, okay, what content have I done supports that idea, right? So, and has resonated with people. Because even if it didn't perform as well as you thought it should, when you're able to reframe it under this kind of organizing idea, you'll be surprised how much more momentum it gets.
That's true.
Right? So we got a theme. I'm so excited.
Me too. Me too. I don't know nothing about marketing, so I'm
You know what? I'm so tired of you telling me that. You have everything in your head. It is all there. I'm just asking questions and
it's stuck. You gotta pull it.
We all do it. You're gonna do it for me next week. You didn't know it, but we're gonna get on our call and you're gonna do the same thing for me. Stay tuned. So they want to show up better. So the question then becomes how.
I feel like
that's where your content comes in. That's where your services come in. How can I help you show up better? Now that we have that, the next step when you're talking about repurposing or even just creation in this regard is understanding what you're most comfortable with creating, right? Because some people like to write, some people are more comfortable with video, some people are more comfortable with audio. So when you're creating your content, I really recommend that you first use the medium that you're most comfortable with to create the long form piece or your anchor piece. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take that one long form piece and then begin to break it up and use it in different ways. So if you can choose the format that you like the best for your long form, it's easier to do, right? Instead of fighting with yourself. If you're not a writer, don't write. Don't make yourself write this big long thing, when you can do a video, and guess what? We can transcribe the video, right? So we got all this stuff we can do to get you moving. We can take the video and get your 1 minute Instagram video, right? We can, but you can work it in reverse, right? Your blog post can then become the script for your video. If you break it down for your 1 minute, if you want to do 3 1-minute clips, you pick through your blog post and you say, okay, well, this is my theme. I'm going to get these clips. They become your social quotes, right? So if all of that, we're going to use one piece and do all of that every single week. And then we'll just rotate. But that's why understanding what you're most comfortable with is important, because that way you get your big, your largest piece done in a way where you're not fighting yourself, where it doesn't feel like a chore or a job. You're just doing it, and it's what comes naturally. So I know you post a lot of kind of longer form stuff on social, but I know you also shine on video. So I'm just interested in knowing what do you prefer? What's the path of least resistance for you for a longer piece?
So it's kind of been ingrained in me that I need to provide what the woman that I'm serving wants and how I think she will best receive it. So my priority is not my discomfort in giving her the information. It's in her actually open to receiving it.
No, I absolutely agree.
So to answer your question,
but are you going to fight yourself?
I used to. You are right.
Okay.
I used to fight a lot. I'm like, the video, but I learned something that the more I did it, the less I fought.
Right. Okay. I love it.
For those that are watching this video, I would definitely like take the path of least resistance, but at the same time, you may still want to practice the areas that you aren't comfortable with. So I'm a writer, I'm an editor by nature. So I guess that by default, I'm a writer first. I do like videos, but I wouldn't say that's the first way that, like, that's not my default. I would probably say writing, but some people aren't readers. Some people have a short attention span. A lot of my clients are mothers with small kids, and maybe
which is okay, because you're going to take that writing and you're going to turn it into videos, remember? So the idea is for you to get it out in a way that, number one, is going to be fastest, that's going to be because again, we're talking production, right? We gotta, we want to make sure that we're getting it out. So if you're going to be in your head too much about doing 3 videos, write the long blog first. And then we'll go through and we'll say, okay, where is the video in this? Right? This is the idea where mom who's in the car or who's, trying to catch it while she's feeding her kid or whatever, like where's the video clip in the longer piece? And you get to go through and still deliver in a way that, your audience will receive it, but you start it out in a way that allows you to feel most confident, that allows you to produce more quickly, right? Because you got to get it done. So it's like, if it's going to take you longer one way or the other, pick the one that's going to allow you to give your most initially, and then you break it up. And I know you do a lot on Instagram. So of course you got to do video at some point, so what does that look like? But you get to decide where that first kind of anchor piece starts. And
so that's a good point. So I do maybe on average 3 videos a week. And those videos tend to be the fitness component of my company. I think that's a lot easier than saying, yes, work this abdominus and work this and work that. So I just show you how to start the process or continue the process of looking better with my fitness videos.
Right. So one of the ways that we can repurpose those is inside of blog posts. You start embedding them and giving them context for people who do read, right? So there are some people who are going to want to read. So what you do then is use those things as the anchor point for your written pieces. And you're able to do that, or for your social posts. If you do 3 videos, you can break them up into clips. The idea is to deliver the same value without you having to do as much. And one of the things, and we might run out of time today, but one of the ways we can do that is going through and looking at your analytics and seeing where you've gotten the most traction. Where do people respond? What do they respond to? And go back and grab it. You can curate your own stuff. These are my top hits, my greatest, hits. And those are all things that you've done, and you just kind of pull them together. These are the things that people have enjoyed over the year. Curate your own stuff. You've got enough out there, and that's another way to repurpose it, is to create one of your newsletters is, these are the highlights from this year, stuff.
I was gonna do like a 2020 video and go back and do what you just said. I thought that would be interesting, not only for me, but for my audience to see the growth, and to remind myself of all that I accomplished this year. So,
which is huge. It's important. It's so important. And like I said, I get tired looking at your stuff, because you putting it out, you cranking it out, and it's a lot. So we have our umbrella theme is to show up as the woman you want to be, to show up better for yourself and consistently for yourself. And now we have where that anchor piece may potentially start, right? So it may start as a blog post, but it will probably start as a video, is what I'm hearing. And you can go back and forth, but just kind of being able to pick how it starts. And then the next step in this repurposing would be to say, okay, now let me go through what I have and see what falls into this category. And it may not fit in perfectly, right? But you can take it, tweak it. The other thing when you're repurposing content is to have your bank of images, right? Because you can use the same captions, the same quotes with different images. if you don't want to just, wholesale do the something totally the same, swap your images out. You get to test images and see what people. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a caption that resonated with folks and you got a lot of, feedback, or, people went to your site because of it, reuse the caption and get another, get 3 new images, right?
And it's interesting you said that, because I will copy and paste the caption in a new image, but I'll copy it only because of the hashtags and maybe like 1 or 2 things, but I'll delete and then just like, okay, what am I going to read? What am I going to write? I'm like,
no, remember, maybe 6% of the people saw it the first time. Maybe, yeah. Right? So if you think about that, you don't need to do all of that. You can swap your image out, and you can also read it, right? So say you want to do a video. Hey, this is an idea that resonates. You read the caption. It's what, 7 seconds? And then you have a video of that same content that resonated with folks, but now you got a video clip.
That's a great idea.
So that is, the path that we're going to keep going down, because like I said, you have so much stuff, and you will add some new stuff as you learn. And you'll also, I like 80-20. So like maybe 80% of your stuff is your core messaging, and then maybe 20 is the fun stuff that you throw out there, or stuff with, trends and topics. Say if it's a new fitness trend or nutrition trend that's out there that you want to speak on, those are the things that you kind of do off the cuff. Of course, your personal stuff, your family, things that I love to see when you do that. But 80% of this should be clockwork. You are able to, having produced content for 3 years now, you've got some gems. So, we can go through this process, spreadsheet it, put it in whatever project management tool you want to use, and go from there. But you have enough. And there is a process to take it off of your plate coming up soon. So I'm excited about it. I appreciate you helping me create video, because as you know, I am not into it at all. But one of the things that helps me is to talk to people. I'm a, one-on-one small group person. So I'm like, okay, well, that's how I get over myself, is to, do the things that I don't fight with, and still being able to help my folks. So I'm excited about it. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me record our
topic. So helpful.
I'm glad. You always, I'm not good at marketing. Please, you have it in you, like most people do. It's your business. You started it for a reason. You know more about it than anybody. You know your intentions behind it, and you know who you can serve. So those are all of the things that bring it together, that make it valuable. So thank you again for letting me record our copy coaching call. And if any of you are interested in copy coaching sessions, or if you just have any questions about how you can repurpose your content so that you can get off of the treadmill, visit me at empowercontent.com. That's the letter M, powercontent.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at the same address, Empower Content. So I hope this helps. Thank you, and take care.